Hi, year nines. Nice for you to be able to see me. And what I'd like to do is to introduce this lesson about Alexandria to you, because Alexandria is a city that I'm quite fond of. It's something that I've done as part of my research at university, and a lot of people would tell you Alexandria is probably famous for its library and education, for its foundation by Alexander the Great. But for me, it's the cosmopolitanism of the city. What do I mean by cosmopolitanism? I mean the mixing of the crowd from different culture. It's a real melting pot. And that, in some ways, reminded me of the city that I was born in, Hong Kong. Um, and you can equate it to modern day cosmopolitan megacities like London or New York. And you can associate Alexandria's hustle and bustle, commercial activity, rowdiness, perhaps even crime, the unnavigability of it, all that with some of the big modern cities of the day. So we will have time to talk about the library and the university at Alexandria. But what I want to present to you today, um, with some videos coming up and a general overview of what the city is like, is just how cosmopolitan Alexandria and how busy Alexandria, the city, is. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you really get a sense of what it's like. And um, it's going to be a really cool but really disorientating sort of place to be in as we visit through it. Okay, here is a map of Alexandria around the time of Hypatia, which is about certainly after the 0 AD, perhaps the second or third century AD. I might be wrong, but certainly under the Roman times. Alexandria was founded by Alexandria the Great at about 331 BC. Okay, so he started around the area here. I'm sure you'll learn more about the precise process um, of Alexandria founding the city in the video that you will watch. He had a dream, and apparently, the dream he was told to found the city here. So he built a port in this area. Just to give you a sense of the geography, this is the Mediterranean Sea, so this is the coastline, and originally Faros Island, yeah, you can see from the cursor there. The Greeks built the heptastadion. Heptastadion literally meaning 7 states long. This big causeway, which is now silted up, is now land because water can't pass through very well, and then it accumulated. But anyway, this was an island, and the Greeks built a bridge here, and they formed a harbour. Over time, these breakwaters got added to make sure it's sheltered for the boats. On the other side, you've got Lake Mareotis here. Now, this lake is not part of the Mediterranean. I believe is a freshwater lake and is connected to the River Nile. So, River Nile is the longest river in Africa. Am I right in thinking it's the longest river in the world? Anyway, it goes a long way. It goes the full length of ancient Egypt uh, and the most populous areas within ancient Egypt. So what Alexandria became is that it became a trading post um, between goods from Egypt further inland towards ancient Sudan and the rest of the Mediterranean. And the city grew up around the ports. These are those royal areas of Alexandria where the kings after Alexander the Great lived, and they developed the area. And then you've got this grid system that Alexander the Great himself devised. Again, something you will learn more in the upcoming video. Now, what excites me most about Alexandria is the fact that it is a cosmopolitan place. And much like modern day cities, quite often you'd find people of different culture grouping in different area. So, for example, the palace area here quite often are where the Greeks and the Romans lived. Um, and then you've got a mixture of Greeks and Egyptians around uh, around that main area there. Um, the Jewish people lived in these area up towards the top, and one important thing that the Jews of Alexandria did was to translate their holy book, um, the Torah, into Latin and Greek. I think it's Latin and Greek. They certainly did some translation there. So you've got mostly three major groups of people in this city. You've got the Greeks who founded the city. You've got the Egyptians, and the Greeks were hoping to trade with the Egyptians in this city here, and this is Egyptian land in many ways. You've then got the Jews um, who have come in to this area and settled here because the area where the Jews uh, have come from, modern day Israel, has there are certain things going on in there, and they feel more comfortable staying here. And of course, eventually the Romans came. So by the time of the stories, if you're studying the Cambridge Latin course, you've got four major cultures there. Although Romans never necessarily settled here in great numbers, because if you think about it, um, Romans are people from Rome, which is essentially just one city. And the Romans prefer other people to sort of become Roman than to necessarily colonize other people because they didn't start off with so many people, right? So that's the basic cityscape for you. And rather than looking at it as just a grid, you've got to imagine it very busy with people walking up and down, a lot of workshops in the area, um, goods moving from one side of the city to another. It's a true metropolis. It's the largest city around in the world, or perhaps one of the largest city at about 100 BC, and it's full of activity. Arguably, it's perhaps the first ever cosmopolitan city in the world, the first ever city where different cultures do come together. Okay, I'm going to show you some videos that really take you to the heart of ancient Alexandria as it was then. It's from a video game play, and I don't know if you know, uh, game developers often consult historians and do a lot of research as to what these ancient places are like. It certainly won't involve much jumping from high buildings in the hay bales, and if you know the reference I'm talking about, you probably shouldn't be playing that game, so bad person. Anyway, they're from the game called Assassin's Creed Origins, and hopefully I should have given you some instructions as to which video to look at. If not, there's probably some links just below this tab as well on the comments part. Have a look, see what you can find out, and really focus on why Alexandria is uh, such a crossroad of different cultures and why it's so cosmopolitan. What evidence of other parts of the world can you find in watching this video of Alexandria? I really hope you enjoy it. It's certainly a topic that I really enjoy, and if you have any questions, send them my way, and I may or may not be able to answer you. It doesn't seem to be a very well researched topic in the classical world, but perhaps if you're really interested enough, you might be the pioneer in that research, just as the researchers in ancient Alexandria were the pioneers in research in their day. Enjoy!